What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Flock of Seagulls. And we're back for another tune from The Light at the End of the World, 1995, and it's Say You Love Me, which is pretty straightforward. It sounds like somewhere between an entreaty and a plea, wanting to hear it, but also that maybe being indicative of not being entirely confident or comfortable that the other person is feeling that way or that they're willing to reciprocate. So yeah, it sounds like a relationship that is ongoing and maybe one that is complicated in terms of the emotional exchange, or maybe it's literally just a good relationship but one in which the ritual of expressing this sentiment is important, whether that's on a daily basis or at certain crucial junctures. So let's give it a listen. This is A Flock of Seagulls. The track is Say You Love Me, and it's from the 1995 album The Light at the End of the World. I like the sonics there a lot. It has a real kind of throwback 80s feel, but with the guitar there at the end and just a couple moments along the way, it's like you can tell that it's evolved. You can tell it has a bit of a 90s flavor, but it feels like in the kind of smooth and emotional melodic bass line for the tune. I don't mean like bass line. There is a bass line that's grooving away, but I meant like the foundation of the tune, that kind of smooth and emotional melodic feel, that definitely has a bit of a throwback vibe to it. So yeah, this album's been really interesting because in some ways it sounds very evolved and very different from what they were doing like at the end of the 80s or in the second half of the 80s, which was itself very different from what they were doing in the early 80s. But it's also had a bit throwback feeling to it, or at least a couple of the tracks have. So yeah, it's like a mixture. It feels like it's kind of itself spanning their trajectory, though less dance floor. Again, there's been some like blues rock, and there's been some kind of like new wave sounding tunes, but maybe with a little bit of a 90s touch, as with this one. But yes, ultimately I do enjoy Mr. Score's vocals. He really like feels and sort of fires some of those lines with real power. And yeah, so like lyrically, it feels like what I was expecting, but it's almost like he's like in one way he sounds like he's a bit insecure that this other person is maybe not as into it, and that like he needs to hear it, he needs to know. But he's also saying like, I see it in your eyes and in your touch, and don't waste time with anyone else, because like I'm the one you should be loving, and I'm going to come to your shore and you should be in my heart. So it feels like he's kind of, he needs to hear it, but he's also asserting that this other person should know that it's them. And he's saying, from the moment I saw you, and there was just something about it. So it's in a way trying to assess where he stands, but in another way, I think making clear that for him, there's no doubt how either of them should be feeling. So that's the vibe I got. I may have missed a key line or two, but that seemed to be the essence of it. And yeah, as I said, I really like the vocals and the guitar work. Obviously, in the latter stages, the guitar began to flourish a little bit more. So yeah, another cool tune from them. I know like there's a lot of folks, it seems like, who maybe value their early phase the best, and there was at least a couple folks who said the stuff that they started doing in the second half of the 80s wasn't quite their cup of tea, and maybe this album isn't exactly, a return to peak form, but I'm enjoying it. And it is always interesting to me when you listen to a group who are most known for like a certain phase of their discography, but they have many more albums. I'm always keen to hear what that sounds like. So I'm enjoying the record. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.